In this video, we are going to talk about why you obsess about not feeling enough for your partner as a fearful avoidant. I am Pauline and I am so happy you are here because this obsession, I remember it so well and it's so frustrating. Whether it's feeling like you don't feel enough love, not enough attraction, you don't miss them enough, it should all be more intense and more passionate, and you're just not feeling it. And it's so frustrating because you want to feel more. You want to feel more attraction. You want to miss them more. You want them to, like, light you up. That's not a word. You want to feel all the things and you're not feeling them. And maybe even you're not really feeling anything. You're just kind of numbed out, and you feel fear and tension, and that's not what you should be feeling according to your fearful avoidant brain, because this is the first point. You have a clear picture, kind of clear picture of what you should be feeling. And that is a picture that you have. It is not the truth. It is not the ultimate all-ending truth. And I remember so well that I had all these ideas of what I should be feeling and definitely what I shouldn't be feeling, like being annoyed with Aryan, my now husband, then boyfriend, and just not feeling anything. And I was kind of ashamed, and I didn't want to talk about it with anybody. I didn't want to mention it because I was so afraid that they would say, "Oh yeah, but that's not good. Then you definitely should break up and, find the one, that mysterious mystique one." And then I decided I was going to interview 100 couples that had been happily married for over 40 years, just because I wanted to know what a real marriage looked like and what real love looked like. And what I heard from these couples in no way was similar or matched what I thought I had to feel. It was almost amusing. I mean, it was super confusing and confronting and such an eye opener, but it was also almost amusing that I went to these couples with a list of 103 questions. I am over exaggerating. And a lot of these questions were like, how do you keep it exciting? Like, how do you keep that tension in your marriage, that spark alive, I guess is the English way of saying it. Um, how do you keep the passion alive? And it was just all focused on these really intense feelings. And couple after couple really sweetly looked at me with just kind and loving eyes and said, "Yes, your generation is just so focused on those feelings, aren't they?" And that's not what it's all about. It's not what it's all about. The feelings are like a cherry on top of the cake. And I was like, "What? No, the feelings are everything. That's what you need to know for sure, that you feel enough. And then all the other things just come easy, right?" Yeah, no, that wasn't what they said. And what I heard from them again and again were things I was feeling, or wasn't feeling, and that they were apparently completely normal, such as not feeling anything for your partner for periods of time is actually normal. So the idea that I had, that you had to be completely insanely in love all the time when it was the one, that just wasn't true. And the fact that I was annoyed by him, for me, was a sure sign that this was wrong and I had to break up. And yet I heard these couples say again and again, "Oh yeah, then I'm really annoyed with my partner." And then I say, "Oh, you're so annoying." I'm translating in my head. "You're so annoying." And then I go to the other room and I just sit there and think about how annoying he is. And then after 5 minutes, I'm like, "I wonder what he's doing." And then I go back to the room where he is, and then everything is well again. And after interviewing 100 couples and obviously analyzing this and seeing the patterns, I realized that one of the reasons that they were so chill in their relationship and in their love for each other, their love was so strong, was that they just allowed all their feelings. So this example that I just mentioned of this wife that just said, well, you're just so annoying. And then she allowed herself to feel annoyed by her partner. And she went to the other room just to sit with that annoyance. And after 5 minutes, she was like, oh, I wonder what he's doing. She allowed it. While what I was doing, you might recognize that, is that I was pushing away every single thing that I thought I should not be feeling. So when I felt annoyance, that was like a panic attack because I felt like I shouldn't be feeling that, or I thought I shouldn't be feeling that. So the key word here is should and shouldn't. And you have a picture of what you should be feeling and you shouldn't be feeling. But what if it's all just okay? What if everything you're feeling is okay? Oh my gosh, what freedom, right? As I'm talking, I'm realizing that I wanted to start this video with saying that this coming Monday, there's a Q&A, a live Q&A, which I'm so excited about. I will get to see you guys again and talk to you guys again. I did this once before and it was so good to have that interaction. So this Monday, the 21st of March, at 7:30 Amsterdam time, I will have a Q&A, a live Q&A. If you want to join, come join. It's the link is in the description below. You can just sign up and you will get an email and you can join and ask all the questions and realize that you are definitely not the only one with all these questions and all these thoughts and all these shoulds. So let's get back to regular programming. These shoulds that you have are just a picture that you picked up somewhere, and they are not the absolute truth. Okay, I could talk about that for an hour, but let's go on because there are more points. The only thing I want to talk about with feelings, as a fearful avoidant, you always think that the more intense your feelings are, the more true they are. So you want to feel love and attraction and passion and all those things, and you don't just want to feel them, you want to feel them really intensely and consistently, like all the time, because your fearful avoidant fear brain believes that if you feel these feelings intensely enough, that means that they are true, and that means you are making the right choice. Also, a tendency of the fearful avoidant is if it's not perfect, then it's nothing. So it's very black and white thinking, which is a cognitive distortion in and of itself, which is a whole different topic. I won't go into that, but most fearful avoidants have a very black and white way of thinking about the subject that they have so much fear around, and a lot of times that's relationships. So you feel like if it's not perfect, if I don't admire this person completely and I'm not attracted to them constantly, then it's not perfect. And if it's not perfect, it's nothing. It's not valuable. It's not worth it. It's not worth going through all this pain and misery and working so hard on it. So how's that working for you? I remember so well I had this perfect mindset and it was just biting me in the ass every turn. And so after a while, I was like, well, maybe this is not the way to go. This whole wanting it to be perfect is not really getting me anywhere. So maybe I should just let that go a little bit. And that was also after interviewing 100 couples, which is just so, brings you down to earth. It brings you down to earth. There's no perfection in any marriage, even the really, 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 really happy ones. So that's why you obsess about not feeling enough for your partner, because if it's not perfect, then it's nothing, and then you should break up. But there's a part of you that doesn't want to break up, and so you are in this crazy making debate in your head, which you're constantly in. That was another point. And then another point 3, let's just give them numbers, is that as a fearful avoidant, you are very afraid to make a mistake. You are very afraid to fail, and you have this feeling that you should be perfect. I mean, your relationship should be perfect, your feelings should be perfect, but also you should be perfect. And this is not something that is very obvious, because most fearful avoidants project this onto their partner because it's so scary to feel this, and it's so scary to even consider the possibility that you are not perfect, that you won't deal with that. So you are just very afraid to make a mistake, and that's why you want things to be perfect. And you might recognize the thoughts that, well, what if in 20 years I wake up and I realize that he or she is not the one and I made a mistake, and then maybe we're married and maybe we'll have kids, and then I have to hurt my partner and I have to hurt these kids, so I have to make the perfect choice right now. And that's putting so much pressure on yourself right now. And the interesting thing is what you don't take into account is that in those 20 years or whatever, how many years, um, you have a lot of influence on how things go, but you don't have control. And that's what fearful avoidance want. You want absolute control. That's why you want perfection, because perfection equals control to the fear brain. But there is no control and there is no perfection. Both are illusions. And the good thing is, you don't need them. You don't need them to be safe. You don't need them to be happy. You don't need control and you don't need perfection, because nobody has them. Nobody has control. Nobody has perfection. And still, there are a lot of people on this earth that are very, very, very happy in their relationships and in their life. So you don't need them. You don't need control. You don't need perfection. What you do have is influence. So you can't dictate how something is going to go. You don't have that control, but you do have influence. You can influence how things are going by pouring into your relationship, by choosing love, by investing in your relationship. And the funny thing is, the weird thing is that a lot of fearful avoidants are so afraid to do that, because they feel like, yeah, well, what if I invest and then it all, turns out wrong anyway, or we end up breaking up anyway. And as you're thinking that, as you're seeing it from that perspective, you're already kind of like sabotaging the relationship. So let go of wanting control and allow yourself to have influence. You are not a victim to your feelings. You are not a victim to your thoughts. In 20 years, there's a lot that can happen. You can grow as a person. You both can grow as a person. And there are so many ways that you can grow together, that your bond can get stronger. So many things you can do by yourself and together as a couple. So I think it's important to know that the reason why you obsess about not feeling enough is because you're so afraid of making a mistake, and you feel like you have to choose perfectly now and then the rest will be perfect the rest of your life. And that's not the way it goes. You choose imperfectly right now and then you just work at it and you just pour into your relationship. That's where your power is, not in choosing perfectly, because there's no such thing. There is no such thing. I could talk about any of these points for an hour. Moving on. The fourth one, the last one, is having these intense feelings for your fear brain, for your fearful avoidant fear brain, is almost like protection. It's almost like you feel like having really intense feelings will protect you from harm, will protect you from your partner leaving you, will protect you from doing dumb things in your brain, such as falling in love with somebody else or cheating on your partner. And this comes back to something I've mentioned before in another video, which is very important, that fearful avoidants tend to trust feelings but not choices. And it's so important that you start to trust yourself more. You can trust yourself. You are allowed to trust yourself. And what I mean by that is that you can trust yourself in, even if you fall in love with somebody else, that doesn't mean you will make a mistake or that you will cheat on your partner. So many fearful avoidants are afraid that they will cheat, and actually none of them really do. So you might develop feelings for other people. A lot of people do. It's very normal. It's very common. Also, a thing I heard from those 100 couples, a lot of them said that they either liked somebody else, they were attracted to the other people, multiple other people, or they were just full-blown in love with somebody else. But they made a choice for their relationship. And the thing is, when you make that choice and you just allow all your feelings to be there, so also the in-love feelings with somebody else, after a while, your feelings will always follow your choice. If you choose your partner completely, then you will notice that your feelings will follow that choice. So it's okay to feel whatever you are feeling. You don't have to control your feelings. It's okay to trust your choices, to trust yourself. You can trust yourself. You are more trustworthy than you think. You have learned not to trust yourself and not to trust your feelings because they've been put down a lot of times and seen as not important. Your needs weren't important probably when you were younger. But guess what? They are important. You are important. Your choices mean something, and you are so much stronger than you think. So, even though you're afraid of making mistakes, doesn't mean that you will make them. And even though you think that you have to choose perfectly now, or else you will definitely make a mistake, black and white thinking again, that's not how it works. You get to choose and then you get to invest, and relationships just are messy. They are messy. All of them are. Nothing is perfect. And that's okay. That's safe. You don't need that control and you don't need perfection. So these are just kind of like 4 reasons why you're obsessing about whether you're feeling enough for your partner as a fearful avoidant. I really hope these were valuable. These were valuable. Um, so 21st of March, which is in a few days when this video comes out, we will have a Q&A, a live Q&A, and I'm so hoping I will see you there. I love reading your comments. I read every single one of them. There are so many good questions in those comments, and I try to make videos out of them or answer them in the comments when I can. But I would love to just talk to you and hear from you directly during this Q&A. And it will be kind of like a webinar kind of situation. So you will be able to see me. I won't be able to see you, but you can put your questions in the chat and react and see what other people are asking and saying, which just, it feels good to know that you're not the only one, you know? All right, 21st of March, link is in the description below. I will see you there, hopefully. And I will be back next week with a new video.